At the bottom right, we got our lovely red Terran player. Give it up for the rabbit in the hat. It is a bunny.
And ladies and gentlemen, in the top left, facing against what he has stated to be his kryptonite. Obviously from Team Liquid, it is young Frenchman, Clem.
All right, so we...
Game
oh.
Well, you know, that's just how it is sometimes. We'll see what the pause is about in a little bit. But hey, that means we get to talk about the series and what's going on. So, all right, they're getting back into it. But we had a little bit of a break while we were waiting for Clem to arrive. Did get here a little bit late. Of course, their match was scheduled for 30 minutes in the future. So, you know, didn't need to arrive immediately. But what we do have going on while this is all happening, while this TVT is going on, Scarlet versus Nightmare, Ragnarok versus Hero Marine, and Cyril versus Joe Un. All those series have already started, though, so, you know, check them out. Go get to the squad stream. But what I'm excited for is this TVT. Now, Clem has stated in the past, he has said, I do not want to face Korean Terrans. And I think the main reason why is because, you know, in each region there are a few players. There's like one race that seems to like be a step ahead in the mirror matches. And for Korea, that really does feel like the Terrans. In the mirror match, the Terrans, they know it inside and out. They get practice with the best against the best Terran players in the world. You know, for Europe, it's maybe like the Zergs, and then, you know, for North America, it's maybe, let's say Protoss, definitely. Their PvP is very, very good. But yeah, Clem does not like playing against Korean Terrans because they can really, their aggression, the style of play that they bring is really different from anything that you get in Europe. They really do it. They just bring this different aggression, this different level of micro, where they really are paying attention to the small details.
Yeah, I mean, they have a very... oh, sorry. This type there. All right. So, yeah, they do have a variety of kind of play styles. I mean, if you look at Gumiho, he's, you know, of course, very mech heavy. Maru, he's kind of... I think he has a nice balance, although he's more, of course, more bow heavy. Bunny, I think he's more of a bow player. Likes to kind of drop and harass in multiple places, you know, maybe double prong, triple prong attacks, things like that.
Oh, Bunny, whoa, gets 3 probes off of a double Reaper opening. That is, yeah, that's not supposed to happen there. Clem did try and stop it, but the repair was not enough. Very, very nicely done by Bunny. And the reason why I say that shouldn't happen, if you're looking at the openings between these two players, they happen pretty similar. It was barracks into factory into a command center and then starport afterwards. The only really big difference is Bunny actually produced 2 Reapers and then went straight into his reactor, where as Clem went for the 3 Reapers with the Hellion, and so that reactor is a little bit slower, puts a little bit more money into it. And so with those 2 Reapers, ideally they should not get any damage done because you have 3 of your own. They should be able to counter them quite well, but that's not the case. That means that, hey, Bunny now does have a little bit of an advantage because he didn't go for the Hellion. He does have a quicker second unit out of his factory, so 2 Cyclones to the 1 tank of Clem. And he now has a slight worker lead here, sitting about 3 workers up, which in the mirror matchup, especially this early on, is absolutely a nice place to be sitting at. Now, Clem is going to be going for the 4 Marines and a tank. This is, you know, this is your classic, this is your traditional, but the Cyclones, meeting this, you know, halfway across the map, it's actually really hard for now Clem to get into a good position because these Cyclones, they can get lock-ons, they can slow it down. It's very, very awkward as we're going to see some nice pickups, but now Bunny, he just brings in his own tank, drops it down, the Cyclone is going to fall. Doesn't get the lock-on onto the medevac, but yeah, Bunny completely shutting that down.
That was kind of funny. It was like a little bit of a, you know, medevac drop and pick up kind of micro war there.
Very nicely done. Of course, Bunny, he had the later tank just because of how the builds played out, but that worked out. His drop came across the map as Clem accidentally attacked his own tank. But now we're going to get the siege up here from Bunny. He's going to be the one who gets across the map first. He's going to get the chance to be aggressive first. His tank position, it looks like it's just barely not in range of that factory. Maybe if we could scoot a little bit further forward, would be able to try and hit that tech lab, as Clem just barely out of range there as well of the tank fire. It's a very precarious position. I mean, Bunny's not going to be able to find an insane amount of damage right now. The Cyclone is down at the bottom just to try and soak up. And look at this. Raven's dropping down auto turrets. Cyclone's pushing forward. The tank gets low. Bunny does not use his medevac to pick up the tank, and it's going to just end up losing this trade. Cyclone getting low. Clem's not going to lose it. He pulls it back in time. And overall, very nicely done there by Clem, as both players are getting up their pocket expansions. But yeah, Bunny a little bit sloppy there, losing the tank.
Yeah, but also credit to Clem. I mean, he really kind of microed that well. Was able to, I think, target fire the auto turret on the tank, the Cyclone on the Raven as well. So some nice target firing, and was able to clear that up.
Yeah, these medevacs passing like ships in the night. Bunny is going to try and chase. Is he going to try and chase this down? And they're just kind of, you know, racing back towards Bunny's base. But Stimpack is on the way. I think he actually cut Ravens at 1. Yeah, so pretty big differences on how you play this game out. Nice Cyclone positioning here, and the Marines coming on in. A great catch once again by Bunny. Is gonna be able to get the medevac. And man, Bunny being very proactive on this map with trying to shut down what Clem is doing, rather than, you know, just committing across the map to his own pressure, as that tank has to turn around in the middle of the map. But what's very interesting is the Raven count. And in an interview with Maru, I asked him about this, and he said, oh yeah, so the Ravens, essentially, depending on where you are economically and your position in the game, depends on how many Ravens you'll get. So if you're even, 2 Ravens is usually good. If you're behind, you can get up to 3 just to have that additional spell casting. And in the cases like this, we see Bunny, he's ahead, only gets 1 because he wants that earlier 1-1, that earlier stim, so he's going to have a slight advantage on those timings alongside his additional barracks. But the siege up from Clem is just going to be so annoying for Bunny to deal with. That barracks might just go down. Not even a lift off for Bunny. The drop also comes through, and that's 9 SCVs going down. Clem finding some great damage here, and it's just, again, it's off of that Raven count and off of the additional tanks that he's built.
Yeah, and also a little bit of a late pull out from Bunny. Kind of had his SCVs just kept mining there instead of pulling them away from those auto turrets. So a little bit careless there. And but you know what, Bunny's gonna go ahead and start going for that counterattack, and oh, gotta be careful.
Oh my, yeah, this is a bit dangerous here for Bunny, but he has the Vikings on the ground, and I mean, those Vikings can just deal so much damage against the armored units, and they're gonna do exactly that. All the tanks fall. Bunny, what a fight to take into the siege up of his opponent, as now Clem does have to retreat. He has his own Vikings. They can hit the deck again. There's a lot of DPS available there, but Clem is actually working on a 4th command center. I think that's where we're starting to see this difference here. Bunny has 5 racks. He's going up to 7 as Clem is just adding on his 4th and 5th. That 1-1, it's going to be done pretty soon here for Bunny. Clem's not going to have that. The difference, though, is just going to be about 10 seconds. I don't think it's going to be enough that, you know, Bunny can really do anything with it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, he doesn't really have any way to advance forward. I mean, Clem has the air superiority. He's also got that Raven count as well. Yeah, so it's gonna be, I don't see Bunny really kind of making his way into, oh, actually, you know what? Let's clear out the front tank, but there is an additional tank at the backside.
Yeah, but now we can push forward here. The tank's gonna start to inch forward. The tanks for Clem, they're so far back. Like, these tanks are sitting all the way back. Like, next to this command center, there's a stim forward from Bunny. He's just gonna try and knock down the Liberator. He gets it! As now these tank shots, they need to be good. They need to try and get workers. They need to try and get the army. How good will they be for Bunny? Well, he's clearing out a lot. The SCV count is still very high, though. Only 5 going down, as Bunny does have to retreat. But behind all of this, you know, he denies that command center. He forces it to lift off. It's now going to land at the 4th position, but he gets worker kills. He again clears out this army for Clem. And behind this, Bunny's already working on his 2-2. He's going to be focusing on just massing up Marines and using those as the main way he's going to try and push this to a victory.
Yeah, both players going to go ahead and start kind of macroing up, getting their 4th base, getting their upgrades, making some additional units there. Looks like they're just sticking with tank and marines for the time being, although we do see Clem adding an additional factory there, so probably going to go ahead and try to increase his tank production. Meanwhile, looks like Bunny trying to find an opening here, but looks like Clem has it on lockdown. Can Bunny drop? Oh yeah, actually there's nothing here. There's no sensor tower, there's no turrets. Bunny's going to have a free pathway here to just drop into the main.
Yeah, everything is at the third right now, and I was going to say, Clem, the one thing he does have going for him is the fact that he's working on these vehicle weapons. Like that +1 coming through for the tanks is really big. As now taking this fight, auto turret is dropped, that gets focused down. These Vikings are not going to be, or these medevacs are not going to survive for long. The Viking gets focus fired. Clem eventually cleans it up, but we're seeing now a 13 supply lead come through here for Bunny. It is mostly in the workers, though. The army is, excuse me, still of equivalent size, but look at this position here. Bunny finding a spot where the tanks aren't, is now going to stim forward. That tank's going to go down. There were no Marines defending it. And that means that now this natural base mineral line is forfeit. And Clem, he can't bring forward the rest of his army. He's walking forward to the 3 siege tanks. Bunny, he just stims back out of tank range. Lets Clem walk into him. It still feels like Clem is going to be able to clean it up, though. The Marines are just enough. The concave was good. Clem, sure, he loses 7 workers, but again, he cleans up the army of Bunny. And despite the pressure coming through here from the Korean Terran, not enough to find significant damage here as Clem going up to 8 barracks, adding, or sorry, Bunny is going up. Is that 8 barracks? Yeah, 8 barracks, adding on 2 additional starports, just trying to, again, push those little leads that he has right now.
Yeah, now I'm wondering, will he use these starports to go for mass Vikings, or maybe you think it's going to be maybe sort of a transition to battle cruisers? I don't see a fusion core, so maybe not the battle cruiser. I would imagine he would try to go ahead and pump up those Viking counts.
No, this should be Ravens. There's going to be Ravens here from Bunny. The Viking count is not significant enough from Clem, who's working on 1 starport, to really force Bunny to need to go into mass Vikings. The Ravens are much more useful. As here we go, Clem. He's pulling the base. It's 3 tanks at the front, though. We're going to try and trim down this army as much as they can right off the bat. And the Marines for Clem trying to focus down the tanks, but they stay alive. And now look at this. Bunny drops on top of these tanks. He's going to get as much friendly fire as he possibly can. And it's quite a bit as he's also ravaging the back. The 3rd base. The 4th base has gone down. Sorry, the 3rd base has gone down. The natural mineral line was evacuated. And Clem didn't get any economic damage. He did get 13 probe or SCVs off that SCV pull from the natural. Both these players trading hammer blows right now as Bunny gets a few more SCVs on the back end of it with this drop. 2-2 done for both players. +1 vehicle weapons is now on the way for Bunny, but Clem, I gotta say, he's been doing a great job of just pushing these upgrades. He has +3 infantry weapons on the way, even if he doesn't have the gas or the money for armor. Just working on that additional upgrade. Very, very well done.
Yeah, I mean, upgrades so important, especially with a Marine-heavy type of army where the DPS of those Marines really make use of those upgrades. However, it looks like Bunny is going up to a 5th base right now. Clem, I don't think he has a... Yeah, he doesn't seem to have a 5th on the way. So it's going to be important for him to try to get the advantage on the army side of things. But oh, look at here, we got another drop.
Yeah, I mean, Bunny's just merciless right now with these doom drops. One is also heading back towards that 3rd base in the back. Yeah, Clem's going to try and respond. Is Clem going to try and respond? Yeah, he sees that he's picking up. It's a little bit late. He's still going to lose some SCVs at the same time. Bunny stimming into the natural again, catching Clem out of position. And now Bunny stims forward. He's on top of the tanks. The focus fire from Bunny is good. The drop forward is, I mean, it is messy, but it might just do enough. He's trying to focus down the siege tanks, and he does a great job of it. That last one is barely not going to fall, but 10 SCVs go down at the same time. Bunny has his 5th base up behind this. He has Ravens in production that he's going to be able to use later on in the game for their spellcasting. And man, Clem has been holding on. Clem has been doing so well, keeping in this game, pushing his own advantages. But now that Bunny has transitioned, this game is going to get so much harder. Clem, if he can find significant damage here, though, if he can catch Bunny out of position, it's hard, though, because he just walks into the sensor tower.
Yeah, but +3 just finished for Clem. This is his kind of period in time where he has the advantage.
Oh, the Ravens! Oh, they're just disastrous as Clem His tanks get interference matrix. He doesn't have enough Marines. Even with that +3, Bunny is able to collapse on in and clean it up. I mean, Clem, he's still working on, I think, 5 barracks to 8. He's just never going to have the higher Marine count. It's a really rough position right now for the European Terran. And as I said, Bunny, even though he wasn't able to really deal significant damage, with these skirmishes, he was slowing down Clem. He was keeping Clem on this Marine tank tech. At the same time, he was getting his Ravens up. And now, with 3 Ravens, he's stimming on in there. 2 tanks on the high ground, though. Bunny does have to be careful. +2 isn't done, but still, the tanks do so much damage as the pickup comes through. Bunny retreats back to his tank line. At the same time, the mineral line at his planetary fortress at the 5th has been managed to be saved. Only 8 SCVs falling for Clem so far, but he's down to 57 to 66. Bunny stimming on in. He's got to force the lift off.
Alright, looks like he's not going to be able to get the command center, but he does get 15 workers, which I think...
Oh, the +3. Clem needs to go in. He needs to save the +3, but he just doesn't have enough. GG. Bunny takes game 1. That's the aggression. That is the multitasking that I love to see from Bunny. He is just everywhere at once.
Yeah, that's where he plays his best, where he's just kind of on the offense and just attacking left and right, up and down, and just keeping his opponents. Oh, looks like they started.
Oh wow.
It's okay. It's okay.
No waiting. We're going right into it.
Yeah. he's like eager to get into the second game. But yeah, looks like we're gonna take our second game into the map of Data C. And we'll see if Clem has an answer to Bunny, or if Bunny can extend his lead over the Frenchman. But here we go. Spawning at the spawning at the top right, we got our red Terran player. Currently not on any team, I don't believe. Should be, but anyhow, he is none other than Bunny.
And in the middle, bottom, leftish corner of Data C, ladies and gentlemen, from Team Liquid is your French Terran player wearing blue. His name is Clem.
So
yeah, Bunny.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Bunny. Obviously, still representing Team Envy, although they are not officially a team. They are now just the clan, but they still support each other. Still being supported, even though the team was disbanded. So, if anyone's wondering, well, why are like DRG and Bunny? Why are they teamless? But they're still like representing Team Envy. That's why.
Yeah. It's a kind of unfortunate because Team MV was one of those newer teams that just came out of nowhere and just started signing up some of the best players in Korea. I mean, we had Maru, we had DRG, we had Bunny, Crater, I believe, as well.
Yep.
So yeah, they kind of really made a big impact. Kind of similar to Onside Gaming, which, funny enough, a lot of the Team NV players did actually move over there. But Team Onside, they just came out of nowhere, and then they started, getting players like Neeb and Maru. Is like just crazy good.
Yeah, I like this. Bunny, his command center first is Data C. He says, listen, why should I do a standard Terran opening when the map is this big? I'm just going to get my command center up extremely early. I'm going to push my economic advantage. And I actually really like this on this map specifically. I think this is a great call from Bunny. You're considering the fact that this is Clem. Clem is probably going to play pretty standard. Clem does not want to risk, losing a game because he was too greedy, especially against a Korean Terran, especially against Bunny, who can be very aggressive. And so this is just a great read by Bunny. And this is when Bunny was first rising to prominence, when he was first starting to find his success after being kind of that middle-of-the-road Terran for so long. It was really off of, it was when he joined Team Envy, when he started to get practice partners like Maru, like Solar, and you started to see him really step into his own with these aggressive builds, with these really creative timings, but also then being able to step back, read what his opponent is thinking, and then adjust his gameplay to that. And I love this, like going from this extremely aggressive build to now this just very greedy one. It feels like it's going to work great. And then even this adaptation of a reactor factory, like you never see that in TVT, but in this case, it is going to completely deny any pressure that these Reapers and Hellions could apply from Clem.
Alright, looks like both of these guys are posturing here at the ramp area. Though Bunny does have the high ground, which is of course one of the features of this map. Makes it difficult for Clem to go up unless he does overwhelm in terms of the numbers. Reaper grenades does miss.
Ooh, these shots. Hellion shots are good here for Bunny though. Gets so much splash damage onto all these units. Wow, that Hellion is so low. The second one is so low as well. Bunny not going to be able to get it.
Oh, come on. Come on. Yeah, I think these Hellions will make it home safe and sound.
Yep.
Looks like Clem does not need any car insurance. He will be able to repair that with his own men. Although if you do, you know, get car insurance, you know, this Geico, this State Farm.
What is the Terran Dominion's car insurance for their Hellions? Tell me, Snoopy. I would really like to know what their coverage plans are, considering what they're doing here. As look at this pressure from Bunny. Hellions and a Raven gets a lot of the Marines down. The Cyclone is still alive though, so Bunny is just gonna have to back on up. But still, this is not something that you really see altogether that often. Very, very interesting. Third command center on the way for Bunny as well. He's up only 3 workers so far, but behind this he has just kind of been teching up. It's tanks, it's Ravens, and now just producing Marines. I don't know. I mean, Clem, very, 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 very standard build here from Clem, and I feel like Bunny right now just kind of playing to the map, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, he does have a little bit of a lead here and going in as we arrive in the 5.5 minute mark. Up a little bit workers, but nothing too crazy where you give the definitive edge to Bunny. Both players just kind of trading blows throughout this couple of first minutes into this game, and yeah, looks like the game does progresses on.
Yep. Clem also getting that third command center up and running. Stimpack though on the way for Bunny. We're just gonna see this game start to ease up a little bit from that early pressure. We are seeing Bunny here very heavily focusing on getting up this tech stim +1/+1, just using the fact that he's had this very macro oriented opening that really has not been punished at all. And so now tanks move out. This third will be taken a lot earlier than Clem's, who's still working on his orbital command center. And that upgrade timing, it's going to be about 30 seconds or so here, where we're going to see no upgrades for Clem, while Bunny does have his own. As auto turret goes down, first tank gets sniped. Clem, he's trying to get aggressive, and this is just because he knows he needs to be aggressive. This was a Reaper fast expand. This was a greedier build from Bunny, and so Clem just can't let it go by. Look at this, though. The Raven spell casting from Bunny immediately throws down the double interference matrix. The auto turrets cleaning up the tanks. Very, very well done there by Bunny to stop that from getting from snowballing out of control.
Yeah, kind of a auto turret fest there. And he does hold onto his dirt base, but looks like over at the blue side of the map, we do have Clem also establishing his dirt base. And we're gonna have a little bit of a slower moment in the next couple of minutes because the tank count does get resetted. Although a lot of the Ravens has survived throughout that battle, so they're going to be able to be reused or used later on in the game. But both of these players trying to replenish their army before they head on out.
Yeah, Bunny has been cutting a few rounds of workers here. Just as this game has been going on, you see Clem pulling out to about a 3 worker lead actually. But the 1-1 finishes up, and there we're seeing about, I think that difference is even longer. That might be about 45 seconds to a minute here until we're going to see Clem with that upgrade of his own stim pack as well at a similar difference, with combat shields now also gaining an advantage in this drop. This could be really deadly. I mean, these are very strong Marines compared to what Clem has to use. His 8 SCVs already going down. Bunny is going to pull back out of range of that tank and now just going to try and fight this. Tries to focus down the Ravens, not able to get it. Auto turrets are just buying a lot of time though, as focus fire there onto the armory is going to stop that from being built. And Clem cleans it up, but takes 11 workers of damage, and that's finally going to reset that worker count to the point that Bunny's back ahead. I mean, Bunny back ahead in the worker count at least. Of course, in upgrades and in terms of just, I think his position in this game continuing to macro up and add on additional, production buildings and tech, he is just constantly a step ahead. His factory, his additional 2 racks were a little bit ahead. His 2-2 now as well is going to be building up a little bit of a buffer between when it finishes and when Clem's 2-2 will finish as well.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the last game where Bunny didn't do any critical damage, but did, a good sizable amount of damage here and there, and then all of a sudden it adds up, and then all of a sudden, Bunny is leading in the upgrades and as well as the bases. And it's going to be up to Clem to make sure the same thing does not repeat in the last game. He's going to have to find some really great engagements. Currently, he does have, let's see here, 6 to 4 tanks. Raven counts are equal. Vipers are pretty much the same as well. There's 1 additional for Clem. So, all in all, the army is pretty close. So it's probably going to come down to those critical engagements.
I mean, this is the difference in this 2-2. I think is the one thing that's really catching my eye, even with the tank lead that Clem has, which is about 2 or so. The fact that Bunny, who has had this additional barracks production, so he's going to be ahead about 13, 12 Marines. They're going to have 2-2, and it's going to be about a minute where Clem does not. And here we see Bunny just stimming on it. He doesn't even have his upgrade, but he knows the tanks are out of position. And it's just going to be able to run away with a chunk of these Marines. Very nicely done. Bunny has to make sure that he doesn't lose everything just for that, but he just might. Clem chasing it down. Finally, the pickup's going to come through. But still, taking down that tank count is especially important when you're seeing that Bunny is once again adding on those additional starports much sooner than Clem is. Those 2 starports are done. Clem has not even started to look towards transitioning into that more of that Sky Terran tech.
Yeah, and that's going to be important because, in those late game TVTs, like the air superiority, it really kind of makes a difference sometimes. And you don't want to fall behind on that. And looks like with the additional starports from Bunny, he's going to pull ahead. He's going to start pulling ahead on that front.
Yeah. Both players now at 4 bases. Clem, once again, has just been focusing on getting those upgrades or the worker production up. He's at 82 workers. He has a very strong economy now. And he's adding on his own starports. Again, it's a little bit later. You're going to be seeing Corvid Reactor and additional Ravens be finished for Bunny a lot sooner. And especially with Clem moving out, this is actually dangerous for Clem. He will be timing it out with his upgrades though, so it's not gonna be anything like an anti-timing where he's pushing out an upgrade disadvantage. Does pull away though. He knows that Bunny is completely ready for that. And look at the air army for both these players. It's completely even. 10 Vikings, 3 Ravens. I mean, this is how these TVTs are going on Data C. This is what we should be expecting this was what you should expect. But both players just saying, yeah, I'm comfortable going to this stage of the game. This is what we're doing now. Is +2 vehicle weapons on the way, 3-3 Corvid Reactors, everything coming through. The timings as this game has gone on starting to even out here for Clem, which is the kind of the nice side effect here of this game going long, is that it gives time for him to catch up in those facets where he was behind.
A little bit of skirmishes throughout the map. But yeah, both players are essentially closing in on the 200 versus 200 supply kind of scenario. And looks like we have a couple of more bases still open out in the map. So this game is by no means ending anytime soon, I don't think.
No.
but we might.
It's day to see, Snoopy. Come on, what are you talking about? Come on, this map has given us the 2-hour-long games this tournament. Well, why would this? Why would it end early?
Yeah,
but
yeah,
Clem
that's true.
here, looking for a Raven, not able to find it. And right now we're looking at 8 Ravens to 5. Again, just keeping an eye on that Raven count is so important. Even if it might seem like, oh, there's only 8. There's like 3 more Ravens. What difference does that make? Well, it can be about, 3 auto turrets per Raven. It can be 2 interference matrices per Raven. And here we go. Bunny disables most of the tanks of Clem. Is going to get even more of them. And this is the power of the Ravens. Every single tank cannot fire. And Clem just gets absolutely cleaned up. And man, that's the Raven. That's what it can do. That's why you get a lot of them. Clem gets absolutely smacked as every single tank is disabled. Bunny keeps a hold of this 5th base, and suddenly he is at a massive advantage.
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's really come down to the engagements and those starports that Bunny invested earlier on. They paid off. They allowed him to get those crucial Ravens, get the Raven advantage, and that definitely showed in that last engagement. Looks like Bunny gonna go ahead and smell blood in the water as he marches forward, but Clem is gonna go ahead and try to. He does have a good, decent amount of Ravens still, but yeah, this is gonna be a tough one to break out of in terms of this contain here.
And I don't know, I wasn't keeping track, but I think that fight might have also happened when Bunny had 3-3. In the midst, I wasn't able to see if that upgrade had finished for Bunny at the time of that push happening, in which case, just again, an anti-timing down for Clem if that was the case. But here we go. Bunny, is he just going to commit on in? I feel like this is a bit aggressive, but disables all of the tanks. Auto turrets are going to go down. His tanks aren't in range, but does it matter? No. His Marines are just better, apparently, as Bunny is stibbing forward. He's knocking down the Marines. The Ravens are going to start to fall. His tanks are still alive in the back. It's 12 tanks to 2. And
yeah.
Man, I mean, Bunny just channeling his inner Maru right now is going to keep pushing this. The tanks siege forward. There's not much left here for Clem. He needs to try and make this hold, but the tanks fire away. Everything falls. Everything explodes. Bunny takes game number 2.
Yeah, I think you can. Everyone can understand why Clem just doesn't want to face against Korean Terrans. I mean. It's just kind of unfortunate for him that he had to get matched up with Bunny out of all the Terrans and players out there.
I mean, I think people forget as well that Bunny, his TBT, at one point he was considered to, at one point before I think his injury, people were like, is this guy going to be the next best Terran in Korea? Because he was coming in, he beat Maru in TBT after the 2-month win streak. Maru's 2-month win streak in TBT was ended by Bunny. And Bunny was the only player that was consistently taking games off Maru from then on in trading series. Like, he really is. Oh, he's just so good. And it's also, Bunny is just, he's so aggressive as well. Like, he plays this style where when he smells blood in the water, he's more like a wolf than a bunny, and he just goes for it. And he knows when to commit in. But his TBT, it really is top level. And I think you can see that when you're looking at these timings, when you're looking at, when, for instance, Bunny is getting his additional starports, when he's, adding on his tech. It is very much that that same style that Maru plays. And he's replicating it very, very well. And so it's great to see. It means that, Clem, he's now up against the ropes. And ladies and gentlemen, the bottom left-hand corner of Waterfall being up 2-0. Looking to sweep his way into those quarterfinals. Representing Team NV, he is Bunny.
And here at the top right, we got our Frenchman playing for Team Liquid. Needs to win 3 straight games. It is Clem.
And we're on to Waterfall. So, this is a very scary map, because this is one of the ones where you get the aggression, where you get the tank drops, where everything starts to get a bit out of whack. And this is one where definitely Bunny can try and fully flex his skills in this matchup. So we'll have to see. Clem, this is a chance to hold on, though. And so it's going to be interesting. We're going to be looking at the build orders here. Obviously, the factories will come down before the command centers, but the real question is going to be, what is the unit production? Do you go straight towards something like the tank drop, which we saw both players do in game number 1? Do you go for Reapers and Hellions, which is kind of fallen out of favor, going for like a lot of Reapers and Hellions, but some players still do mix in something like a Concussive Shell Marauder Hellion attack. Some people still mix in. I mean, we saw Bunny last game just go for Raven Hellion.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a lot of deviations in the Terran arsenal, so we'll have to wait and see what these players decide to go for. Looks like Clem and Bunny both opening up with the Reaper. You just scout around here. Although, important to note that Clem is sending his Reaper all the way across the map. I'm going to go ahead and try to delay the CC from building.
First shot's actually not going the way of Bunny here. Does manage to get the SCV, though, and now a few shots from the high ground. Means that we are going to see Clem back on up. That SCV will continue building the CC. And so far, pretty even in this game. Both players getting their Hellions out. Bunny is adding on that reactor immediately. I believe that Clem, is he going? Yeah, he's going up to 3 Reapers, actually, so should add on a second Hellion as well. As this is actually quite bad here for Bunny. Even a longer delay on his command center is going to be able to get a Reaper, though. Might be able to get the second. Great moves here by Bunny. Knocks them both down. Delay on the command center is unfortunate, but hey, you clean up most of that map pressure that Clem wanted to have with the Reapers. Now, actually, Clem is adding on a 4th Reaper. Does feel like that's kind of a response, but that's going to slow him down a lot in getting his Marine production started.
Yeah, I think after losing these initial Reapers, Clem just making sure he doesn't get snowballed. I'm going to go ahead and try to invest into another additional Reaper. I'm sure he probably would have wanted to started to transition away from it. But, you know, sometimes when you lose your initial units, you got to compensate just to kind of make sure that you're extra safe for any potential counterattacks.
4 Hellions here for Clem. Obviously, these 4 Hellions do have use outside of the early game. You know, you could see, for instance, them used later on to go for a backstab into the base and try and clean up some of the mineral lines. But for right now, it's just kind of a situation where I don't think Clem is going to be able to do too much. He's using these for defense, getting a Raven and a Cyclone out. Is there? Yeah, there we go. I was going to say, where's the tank? I knew that was coming. Bunny dropping it down. Going to try and use this tank for some pressure. There's no factory. And again, this is the downside for Clem of building these additional units to be safe, is that he has no tank. He has no Cyclone. It's just now being produced, but still, we're going to see the siege up come through. That supply depot should go down. It's not going to supply block Clem, though. He has plenty of supply where that came from. That tank is actually in range of the factory. Oh, that's really bad for Clem here. He's going to have to lift off the factory. I mean, Bunny focusing this down. If that factory goes down, if it can't produce this tank, this could spiral out of control. Clem, he's going to need to try and pull the trigger on defending this before it happens, but a good pickup from Bunny. Oh, no. Yeah, more SCVs having to be brought over. Bunny, he really wants to force this to happen, but it looks like the tank will finally finish, and now Bunny having to take the fight. He has 2 tanks here, and Clem's fighting into it. This is a bit dangerous. As the tank goes down, the Cyclone goes down. Bunny still has a tank alive. And uh-oh, Clem. It felt like he was safe. He actually had gotten the tank out, but he pulls the trigger still on trying to clear out Bunny's position, and he just fights into 2 tanks.
Oh, man. And now it looks like Bunny is going to go ahead and actually get the cancel on this 3rd. Yes, he does. This is, yeah, I think this just might be a 3-0 for Bunny. As Clem GG's out, and Bunny, he makes it and advances to the round of 8.